here we are back again after another 2-week hiatus due to the Boston trip and some of the craziness last week. I have a really big show for you today, and I think it will really be a fan favorite, I think, of all the top 5 so far. So let's do it right away. Let's give ourselves more time for the list. And with that said, let's not wait anymore. Here they are, your power rankings for the week.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
the Mascola Money Podcast Top 5 Power Rankings of the Week.
It's time!
So today's list, we have the top 5 Mascola moments of 2018 for Suffern Middle School, Suffern Central School District, some of the Suffern High School stuff I do. So just to clarify this is stuff only pertaining to my personal favorites, and generally it will be stuff that isn't specific to things I would teach inside the 7th and 8th grade classrooms specifically. It's a little bit of my extracurricular stuff that I do, things on top of the normal educational workload. And I think my students would agree that some of these extra things I do are part of what adds to the culture of how I go about my classes and teach and act as a person in the school district in general. So just a few honorable mentions before we get into the top 5 list. One would be becoming an assistant coach for the robotics team this year at the high school. I had a lot of fun doing that. I learned a lot. Those kids are very bright and very innovative, and I appreciated getting the opportunity to work with them and going to some of their competition meets. Another thing that was pretty cool was somewhat recently, actually. There is a movie coming out called 8th Grade that was filmed at Suffern Middle School last summer. I got to be interviewed by the director as an 8th grade teacher to speak about 8th grade and some of the technological components as far as how that deals with the 8th grade mindset and impacts what an 8th grader goes through on a day-to-day basis in today's society and today's schooling environment. All right, but let's get to the top 5. Here we go.
5.
Number 5 for me was starting up the podcast club this year. So after basketball season ended, I realized I had a little bit of extra time. I've always been very interested in media production and video production and audio production in general. So with that said, I figured I'm someone who's into radio specifically. I'm into listening to podcasts. I like to broadcast. Why not start a club that I can promote these interests to kids as well as use to promote my own podcasts? So starting the podcast club has been great. There has been interest from both 7th and 8th graders primarily, and I really do hope to start this up again in September because the kids who did do it, they learned how to do audio editing and broadcast and be more confident in their speaking skills and their oral abilities to present on platforms that they're interested in. So it gives you an opportunity to have your own show, but also have fun in the process as you have the autonomy to do the show the way you want to do it and not the way someone else would want you to do it.
4.
Number 4 was the recording and production of the Don't Laugh Dad Joke Challenge, which originally started as a Friday Frenzy concept. And then I figured if I'm going to do this as a frenzy, why not record it and make it something else that's memorable and something else people can enjoy at the same time? Because the reality is 7th and 8th graders are hysterical. If they are presented with these types of jokes, their reactions are going to be great. It did come out very well in my opinion. It's on YouTube on my channel with some of my other school-related videos, and it seemed like the kids really enjoyed participating in it as much as I enjoyed creating it and working with them on it. So that was number 4. And be sure to be on the lookout for future productions as well of mine. It might be the summer coming up, but I've always got some tricks up my sleeve, even if I'm not wearing sleeves.
3.
Number 3 on the list is the privilege it was to be a chaperone on the Boston trip with the 7th graders and the Washington, D.C. trip with the 8th graders. Now, both trips are very different as far as the itinerary of the activities we do. D.C. right away is a 3-day trip. Boston is a 2-day trip, so it seems very quick in comparison. But they both have their unique standout activities that make them fun and enjoyable for both grade levels. I personally really enjoy going to Quincy Market in Boston. That's probably my favorite place to go. It's a place you can enjoy really from an all-age standpoint, where there's all sorts of food, there's all sorts of stores to shop. It's got a unique environment, the way it's enclosed in that arch type of shape and loops around almost like a track. You can see street performers and get all sorts of souvenirs of your trip. So that's probably my favorite thing amongst some of the other things we do, like Fenway Park, duck tours, aquarium. The DC trip, I really enjoy going to some of the historic destinations and seeing some of the monuments, but I think honestly the best part is going to the rec center and going to Smoky Glen Farms, where the 8th graders can kind of unwind and enjoy being around their full 8th grade student body for the last time, potentially in a non-school setting, as some of the students will be going to private schools or elsewhere if they move. So as they transition to high school, it's a good send-off for them, in my opinion. From a personal standpoint also, I get to enjoy hanging out with the kids as almost like a camp counselor in a way, more so than a teacher. And in a classroom, it's, a much more structured setting. In an out-of-classroom experience like a trip, I get to be more sociable with the kids and talk to them, still as a mentor and leader and teacher, obviously, but in a way where I'm trying to give them the most fun experience I can through the trip as best as possible, whether it's joking around with them, whether it's getting snacks for them on the buses, or bringing my speaker for them to listen to, or whatever else in between, just being there and available. So that's number 3. Number 2 was my implementation of Meme Monday. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock for the past few years, memes are a huge part of social media society, and the jokes range from simplistic in picture form to elaborate in video and GIF form. Some of you might say GIF, and we'll have to have a conversation about that at another time, but not to get off topic here. Memes in general are just a fun way to unite people of different interests, because regardless of what your interests are, there is a meme for you, and there are ways to make you laugh via memes. I have never met a person who has seen a meme and said, oh, there are no funny memes. Everybody might have different types of humor, and memes are the way to bring us all together. The Meme Monday format of students submitting memes and getting them featured on the Mascola Money 24 Instagram has been really more successful than I ever could have imagined, and it's really become a popular part of the class, ranging from jokes of student interests outside of school to school-related memes to custom-made memes related to Mascola Money or class, or even me. I can laugh at myself. People know I'm a pretty easygoing person, so I always think it's funny when I'm incorporated into the memes as well. I think that is something that will definitely be a popular thing going into next year, as a lot of students who did not have me this year are even submitting memes and looking forward to submitting memes next year when they do have me. So, Mascola Money alumni, if you are graduating or you are in the high school and you had me, feel free to send in those memes. We're looking to make it more competitive every single week, so bring your A game. And the highlight of my school year, 2018, number 1, winning the boys JV basketball championship as the head coach of the Suffern JV boys basketball team. Now, this was quite a crew of guys, really high character individuals, but a team that always wanted to get better. They started with a mission, knowing that they had a lot of potential, but understanding that the competition in this county is incredibly high. We play in a very tough conference, play in a very tough county, and a very tough section in general. We were 15-4 going into the playoffs, and we knew that that was not going to be a rite of passage for us to win the championship. We weren't even the top seed or 2. We were a 3 seed playing our first playoff game on the road. So we beat North Rockland and Spring Valley to capture Suffern's first JV championship basketball win, and it was really a special moment for me and for the team. In my first 2 years of coaching, my teams won a combined 9 games. So it was not lost to me at any point how important every single game you win was. And once you get that close, to close the deal and actually win it all was really, really an awesome feeling. And I think it's going to be good for our program going forward, as our varsity team also had a huge upset victory at New Rochelle High School. So Suffern basketball seems to be moving in the right direction. What's always historically been a very popular hockey school and wrestling school, there's room for basketball in that, as it's a very popular sport amongst the country. Why not make it a great place to play basketball right here, Suffern High School Mounties. So that is our number one on the countdown. So with that final one listed, that concludes our power ranking for the day. So with that, that almost concludes us here. I know this episode was a little bit longer, but I appreciate you hanging with me. It was a reflective experience documenting some of the highlights of my 2018, also going back to 2017 part of my school year. And I will be probably doing one more podcast, I would think, about summer vacation type of theme, as well as maybe doing a few over the summer, see how I'm feeling. But with that said, before I leave here, I just want to say I really appreciate supporting all of my students, all of my faculty, and everybody else in the community and school district. It's been a great experience, like I said, and working with the kids is really my favorite part of all this, more so than even conveying the information. It's getting a chance to be around them and helping them hopefully make their school day a little bit better and a little bit brighter, because I'm trying to keep a positive attitude for myself, but for those kids to know that if they ever need anything fun, someone to talk to, I'm here for them. And with that said, that does it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Check out the other great shows. I actually have a very interesting interview appearance on Toby's podcast about Mascola money, so feel free to check that out, as well as the Seamus podcast coming out and the final shows next week. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Stay tuned for more great What's Up Wednesdays, Suffern Middle School podcast exclusives. Signing out, Mascola.